Welcome back to New York Sports Wicker Media. I am Watu K99, and I am still getting over a 4.5 hour extravaganza last night, hanging out with GreenBean, Frankie from Flatbush, and Jeremy from Jets Chaos. We did a live watch of the new Flight 2022 series, breaking down the offseason of our New York football Jets, and oh my goodness, we got through it. It was unbelievable. I think we're all feeling exhilarated. We're even more excited than we were. It's one of those crazy things. It's like we know what the outcome is. We know what happened in free agency. We know what happened in the draft. But to go back and watch the actual, to use one of the most popular sports words nowadays, to watch the process of how it actually all came to be, it just gets you that much more excited. Now, the production team on the New York Jets, absolutely fantastic. The editing, the music, all of it. These guys could set a mood. They could sell, literally, as I said last night, they could sell ice to an Eskimo. They can get you excited. They could talk you into believing that great things are on their way. They really knocked it out of the park. So I wanted to mention just a couple of things from the 5 episodes, just a couple of things that stuck out to me. Number one, Adam Schefter, I thought, was hitting it out of the park with his comments in episode 1. He talked about growing up a Jets fan on Long Island. He talked about his many friends who are still Jets fans and how much this would mean if the Jets were to get back to a Super Bowl and win it, how it would mean more to the Jets fan than it would any other fan base. When I hear him say that, it tells me that it's not just this. All fan bases want their teams to win, obviously, but where we have been for the last 12 years and in a way the last 54 years, it's become a city obsessed, a region obsessed, fan base obsessed, and considering how far away it has felt for so long, and the fact that we are clearly making notable strides to getting back towards that target, how can you not be excited about this if you're a Jets fan? Yes, our hearts are a little bit jaded. There's a part of us that is always going to expect the worst as a Jets fan. But if you look closer, if you take the Jets name away, you look at the men and women who are running this business, you look at the players that they're acquiring, you can see how it's all coming together. It's synchronicity. And if I had to define the Jets in one word, synchronicity is probably the first one I would come up with. Watching Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh in the draft room together, working together, slapping each other on the back, giving fist pumps, laughing. Robert Saleh calling him a genius in the post-draft press conference. It is like refreshing. It is so refreshing after what we dealt with ever since Rex Ryan and Mike Tannenbaum were separated, when they fired Mike Tannenbaum and brought in that stiff John Idzik all those years ago. The Jets have been a completely out of whack organization ever since. And when your upper management is out of whack, everything below that is going to fail as well. And that's when you get failed draft picks, failed signings. All of these type of things are a result of what's going on up above. That is working right now. Okay, we still don't know what Robert Saleh is as an in-game coach. That we're going to learn a lot more about over the course of this year. But Douglas and Saleh are on the same page. It is going to take an absolute abomination of a season. I mean, like 2 wins for anything to get changed on a higher level in this offseason. Also, I was interested in what they are prioritizing. They talked about love of the game. We all know that. If you listen to any one of the scouts, any one of the coaches, he loves football. He loves the game. You hear this over and over and over again. It's not just about somebody who is good at playing football. It's somebody who is invested in it. A volunteer, not a hostage, as they refer to it as. And that is all about the love of the game. But the second thing after this, and this was important to me, is durability. Our injury history is insane. Just last season, we lost 296 games, the Jets did. 296 man games due to injuries. We had so many season-ending injuries. That was the fourth most in the league, by the way. Now, there is no way to completely prevent injuries. It's at the NFL. We know that. But what can they do about? All you can really do is go by their injury history or lack thereof, and have the best training staff in place. Well, not that long ago, about a year ago, Joe Douglas overhauled the training staff. It's not that these guys are going to prevent an injury, but hopefully they can get them back on the field sooner. It may not have worked with Mekhi Becton, but that's another story. So the medical staff, that's something that we have to see. However, we can see that they saw a problem and they took a major step at addressing it by overhauling the entire department. So durability. Watching the episode to watch for me is episode 4, which breaks down the entire draft process, particularly the first round of the draft. And the biggest takeaway that I came up with, one was, well, two things. Watching Joe Douglas work the phones, pretty much from pick 12 on, because the Jets drafted Garrett Wilson at 10. And after New Orleans then traded up to get Chris Olave, the wide receiver, Garrett Wilson's teammate at Ohio State. Pretty much at that point, Joe Douglas started working the phones, trying to work his way back into the first round, trying to get Jermaine Johnson. And he eventually did that all the way down to pick 26. And the editing on this was unbelievable. You saw Joe Douglas working the landline, the cell phone. I was surprised he didn't have two telephones going at one time. I'm surprised he didn't have a headset on while working another phone. He was just going crazy, and it was absolutely mesmerizing to watch the genius just display all his geniusness, if I may coin a word. And then when it happens, I look over to my right, and there's Robert Saleh. And, you know, that ball dome of his, it was shining just a little bit brighter. When he's happy, that dome just shines. It glistens. You need sunglasses to look at that dome. And the level of excitement, I mean, these guys for several minutes, not just Saleh and Douglas, but the assistant coaches, the scouts, everybody working the front office. You had high fives, you had handshakes, you had bro hugs, you had laughing, you had whoop, whoop. You had all of that going on. And man, even if the draft didn't necessarily go the way you wanted, maybe you wanted an Ike Ekwonu, maybe you wanted a Kayvon Thibodeau, maybe you wanted a Drake London, a Jameson Williams, which are all perfectly valid points. But to get possibly, you could easily say, 4 players who could potentially be the 4 best players at their position in this draft, there's no complaining about it. And, you know, their enthusiasm, that's now our enthusiasm as well as Jets fans. They drafted 3 of the top 8 players on their board, and that came from the horse's mouth. That came from Joe Douglas himself. 3 of the 8 top players, I still don't even know if I can fathom what that means. 3 of the top 8 players. There were multiple teams who did not even have a first-round pick. They probably didn't even get anybody in the top 50 on their draft boards, some of these teams, like the Niners, the Rams, whoever else. But the fact that the Jets got 3 players in their top 8, and I'm willing to bet Breece Hall was not all that far behind. I'm willing to bet he was probably in the top 30, for sure. Top 30, maybe even a little bit higher than that. The excitement is real. The optimism is real. You know, I'm not putting a win total on this thing. You can't do that just yet. But the bottom line is this: we could see the Jets heading in a very positive direction, and it's not a situation where, well, if everything goes perfectly, maybe they can get near 500. No, this is a team that can win games. They have legitimate talent on this team. They have a lot more depth than they've ever had. There are holes. The run defense, to me, is a big concern. Again, we still don't know what Coach Saleh is as an in-game coach. So there's a lot of things to see. Zach Wilson's progression, Mekhi Becton's health. We could go through all kinds of question marks if we want to. But the positives have definitely are catching up to the negatives. And they may very well pass them. It's not a season where I feel everything needs to go right for the Jets to be relevant. We need quite a few things to go right. Certain factors have to go in our favor. But this team, I fully expect them to be relevant late into the season, as opposed to the last 5 or 6 years where the season was over by Columbus Day. So that's all I've got for today. On Sunday, I'll be back with the Sunday Sports Sermon. Everybody, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll talk to you later from the Wicker Chair.